Alright guys, Joel here from ZaltekReviews.com. Today I'm taking a look at the Retter 22 sports watch. Obviously we're another integrated bracelet style watch, sports watch. This one's Swiss made. It's got a Swiss price as well. What else can I say? Apart from cue the intro. Right guys, how's it going? Obviously, as I say, I'm recording this quite a fair bit in advance because the watch is under NDA until the 1st of August. So you should see this around about end of July or beginning of August. It just depends when I get the go ahead. I've not got an exact date yet, but the watch is available. I believe for the last time I spoke to the owner, it's been released on the 1st of August. Now the price of these, I've got a listing price of $895 US or around £730. Now I'm hoping that's retail. I'm not sure if they're launching at that price. I'll talk more about the price later on in the video. Let's get into the actual specs of the watch itself. Well, first off, it's called the 22, and that's it. That's the model name. And it's from Retter Watches, which are based in Switzerland. Obviously this watch is Swiss made and has the appropriate Swiss made there at either side of the baton at 6. I've had to put it on this cushion because it'll no lie flat. It'll no behave for the camera. Right. Dimensions. Case diameter of 39.2mm, a total thickness of 11.9mm, lug to lug of 44.8mm, although it wears bigger than that because of the bracelet. Lug width is non-applicable. The movement inside this, now this is where a wee bit of the expense would come because it took a different approach, and an approach that I like. It's a fully regulated Seiko SW400-1. Yes, a 400. Now you might be wondering what the difference is between the SW400 and the SW200. Well, I had that exact same question, so I had to Google it. Now basically, in a nutshell, it's basically the same movement as the SW200. However, it has, where's that thing? It has a spacer around the SW200 main plate, allowing for a wider and larger date for watches that are like 40mm and above. Now, what that means to me and you is, all it does is, it's basically an SW200 with that spacer thing, right? And what it does is it pushes the date window further to the edge of the dial, and that's basically it. The specs are bang on the same. 28,800 vibrations per hour, a 4Hz movement with 26 joules, hackable, self-winding with a 38-hour power reserve. So I mean, that's why this is the first time I've seen a Seiko SW400. But that's basically all it does. It's just a spacer incorporated in it, and it just moves the date. It's a good attention to detail because the further the date is to the edge of the dial, it does look better, I've got to say. Obviously, I would still prefer the date at 6 and it be colour matched to the dial. Talking about colour matching, this watch is available in 2 colours. This sunburst blue or white. Now, As you can imagine, I asked for the white dial, but due to various issues and all the rest of it and what was available, they sent me the blue one. So I was a bit disappointed with that. But I could see past it. Obviously, I'll put a picture up of the white dial. But as I say, with this date thing, I would have loved to have seen this with the date at 6. With no frame. But obviously, if I had the white one, it would be colour matched. But anyway, let's get into the rest of it. The case itself is a mixture of brushing and polishing. Obviously, it's 316L stainless steel throughout, as you'd expect. The finishing on this is very good. It's polished sides on the mid case there. It's a bit of a fingerprint. Fuck's sake, I can't speak today. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet. I'd have preferred it if the sides weren't polished and just brushed, and then maybe have the like a polished chamfered edge running along the top there. Keep the side brushed. Then this bottom portion of the bezel, it's a fixed bezel obviously, is polished and the top is brushed, and all the finishing it's really good, and I do like the bracelet as well. However, I'll talk more about that later on, because this watch, spoiler alert, it's not perfect. It is better than some watches I've looked at with an integrated bracelet, the same sort of style, but there's another watch that's cheaper than this, and it's a lot better than this, and cheaper, as I said. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. The dial, it's a matte white dial, or is it matte, or is it gloss? I don't know. I'll leave a link in the description, you can check that out. The blue one here that I've got is obviously sunburst, right? And all the indices are applied, double batten at 12, single battens everywhere else. Date at 3, as I mentioned. What kind of hands are they? It's quite hard to tell. They're nice though, and they're well in proportion with the rest of the watch, and the hands do suit this dial layout. You've got Swiss made, as I say, at the bottom there. Automatic above the 6. Retter logo there. The actual logo itself is applied, but the name's printed underneath. What's next? The loom on this. The loom on this is, I mean, this is a prototype, right? So I've got to give them some sort of slack. The loom on it's not very good, to be honest with you. And I'm putting that down to it being a prototype, and they're going to make the loom better for the production units, I believe. But I can only review what's in front of me. To be honest, it's not a dive watch, so you're not expecting fantastic loom. I mean, the loom's there, it's adequate. But obviously you're not buying a sports watch for its loom capabilities. As I say, it's not a dive watch. The actual loom is BGW9, by the way. But it's not being applied very well. Well, it's been applied evenly, but it's not very strong. It doesn't last long. The bracelet, obviously it's integrated, 316L stainless steel with solid links, screw pins, and a dreaded butterfly clasp. I hate butterfly clasps. And with this watch as a prime example, sometimes I get a watch with a butterfly clasp and it fits my wrist perfect and I've no complaints. But the majority of them, you get them, they're either too loose or too tight. This one, I took a link out to where I have it. I put a link in to where I have it just now. And it was too loose. It was moving about in my wrist and I hate that. I take a link out to make it a bit tighter, but it was too tight. It left a big mark in my wrist and I had it on like 10 minutes. So my suggestion is ditch the butterfly clasp. Obviously I've got that shut just so it sits kind of tight on this cushion, but know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not a fan, which is a shame because it's a lovely watch. Just leave that there, stop moving it about. The case back, it's totally sterile, no specs, no logos, no nothing. It is screw down and just solid steel. Whether they're changing that, I don't know. Water resistance is 200 metres, which is pretty good. Why they've made it 200 metres, I don't know. Seems a bit odd for a sports watch. Maybe 150 or 100. 100 would be more than enough. The crown is screwed down and signed. However, but I'm even going to try and operate it because I have difficulty trying to operate it with my hands because it's too small. It's only 5mm, but sometimes you can get away with a 5mm crown, but there's just hardly any grip on it. You just look at the design of it, it's like your fingers keep slipping on it. Well, mine do anyway, just because there's no lot of grip, and as I mentioned, it's quite small. I suppose it's quite in proportion. Nah, I'd like to have seen it bigger, with some sort of better grip. Just in my opinion. Weight of the watch, as it is sized up for my 6 3/4 inch wrist, even though it is a bit tight, it weighs in 132 grams. The other aspect to the watch is it's got a 2-year warranty, which is good. Now, that's basically the specs out of the way. Now, as I've mentioned, I don't like the crown. I think it's too small and no enough grip. Or I much prefer to have seen the date at 6 to give it a more symmetrical look. I mean, that's just personal preference. I mean, I would still wear a watch that has a date at 3. I just think it would make it more, what's the word, refined if it was at 6 and colour matched, especially on this blue one. Even if they put a negative date wheel in there, you know, white text on black instead of this white. I mean, obviously it would look okay on the white dial version, but that's just my feedback. And the biggest problem I have about this is the butterfly clasp. Just with wearing it, it's too tight or it's too loose. And the other problem I have is the fucking price. £730 for this, or nearly $900. I hope to fuck that is the retail price, and they're offering these a lot less. What would I say is a fair price for this? Maybe $650, maybe $695 at a push. Now, as I say, it's a prototype and I don't have all the details for release and whether you're going to get it cheaper or a pre-order price or anything like that. Hopefully you will. Now basically that is my review. I'm not going to show you a wrist shot because the thing's too bloody tight. I'm not going to show you a loom shot because, as I mentioned, the loom on this prototype it doesn't last at all really. It is a beautiful watch and it's beautifully finished, but it could be it could be a phenomenal watch in my opinion. And if all these changes were made that I've already spoke about, I'm still not sure that $900 is a fair price for this. I've got to say, that's really expensive. That's basically it, guys. I apologise to Retter Watches. It's not been a glowing review. It is a really nice watch, but as I mentioned, it could be a lot better. There's no problem with the build quality or the finishing. That's outstanding. And I mean, you might buy this watch, depending on what price you get it for, and it'll fit your wrist perfect. As I say, I've had some watches that have had a butterfly clasp and it did fit me. But I just think these are a big gamble to take with any watch, because it's hit and miss where it's going to fit. And that's the reason I wore it once and I thought, nah, take that off. And it sat in my review box until it's ready, because I just don't find it comfortable enough. But that's just my experience. As I say, it might be brilliant for you. No issues, as I say, with the build quality and everything. It's lovely. I like the attention to detail of the putting the SW400 in, so the date is right at the side of the dial. I like that. I like the dial itself. You know, it's nice, and it's such a shame, man. As I say, I would say, the watches that I've seen, right, with an integrated bracelet, ones that are relevant, that have got the same sort of style, is the Tissot PRX. Now, I would say this watch is better than a Tissot PRX, right? However, there's another watch that's better than both, and that is the Dorenzo DRZ04 Mondial. That is outstanding. That's an outstanding watch, and that is why I've just ordered another one, and it's been on my elite list on my website since I first reviewed it. Oh, it was well over a year ago, I think. That would be my choice. If you want to watch like this kind of style, I would go for the Dorenzo, but that's just my opinion. As I say, this is better than the Tissot PRX. I think the Tissot PRX is overrated. Really, it's nice, but it's nowhere near as good as this. And as I say, the Dorenzo is far better than both. Right, that's basically my review, guys. I apologise to Retter Watches for ripping them a new arsehole, pretty much. But as per usual, you're going to get a honest review from me. As I say, I've done this review in advance, as I've only got this for a short period of time. I believe it's going away tomorrow morning. Aye, it is tomorrow morning, it's leaving. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodles.